Hello, Facebook Live, and welcome to another episode of Our Point of View, Up Close and Personal. Today's guest is Miss Niesha Taylor. Hi, how are you?
Honor yourself. Thank you for
Good.
having me.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for being here. Now, she's an author. She wrote a book. The book is called Love, Lust, and Lies, Removing the Veil.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an amazing title. Okay. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I am Niesha Marie, and I am a published best-selling author of two books. One is called When the Soul Cries, Volume 2. It's an anthology with myself and 6 other women telling our stories on how we went from tragedy to triumph. A fearless journey at that. And then the second one is mine, The Love, Lust, and Lies, Removing the Veil. Um, Pretty much talking about everything that I've went through in the past 10 years.
Okay. So tell me, what was your motivation or your encouragement to write the book?
Well, my motivation was I needed to face the truth that I was dealing with. And I feel like someone's out there that was going through the same thing or are going through the same thing that I went through, and I felt that I can help them by just telling my own truth. Of course, not to be afraid, listen to your heart. I had a hard time with it. I really
Okay. Now, I read the book from cover to cover, and it was one of those books where, like, when you start it, you can't stop.
Right.
And when you finish it, it's like, that's it? That's how it ends? I want more. I want more. So without really giving away the book, tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, the book is I'm gonna just say it's like a love triangle type situation, where love and loyalty was tested. And in the end I took a use the word fearless again, fearless journey to my happiness and true love, and of course passion. That's pretty much what the book is about without going into too much detail.
Well, we got to tell a little bit about the book. So I guess the question I'm going to ask is, how were you able to love two men at one time?
Well, that's one of the questions that I've during this past 10 years that I've always asked myself, was it even possible to be in love with two men? At first I was like, nice, ain't no way you could be in love with two different men at the same time. But then as the years passed by, I realized that it is possible. It's just I love this one for this reason, and then this one for another reason. One was for stability, and one was spiritual. One was for security, and the other one was just to have that person that I can talk to when I can't talk to this one. So I was able. It's possible. Some may say that it's not, but for me, it was something I had to live through.
But they both knew about each other, though.
In the beginning, no. It was kind of presented to my husband at the time. He passed away. And to my husband at the time, I kind of presented it to him as this is just my friend, when it was really deeper than that. Um, but the other person, which is now my current husband, he knew all along. He knew everything from the time he and I met to now. So it was no secrets with him, but it was secrets with my deceased husband.
Okay, now for everybody to understand how you were able to love these two men at the same time, and one knew about the other one, and the other one eventually found out about the other one, you have to tell that one of the men was actually in prison.
Right.
He was in prison. So that's how, okay. Yeah. Try not to give too much of the book away, but just give us a little taste, a little teaser about the book.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually still there also. So it's kind of one of those situations where I can't really describe that, because I mean he's been there this whole time, and that him being away, it didn't deter me away from him, and it didn't stop me loving him the way that I love him. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. And he was sentenced to 30 years.
Hmm.
Okay, and how many years does he have to do
Well, 15, he due to come home this year. So,
this year in 2021?
hmm.
Okay. Now, what would have happened had your husband, not your past husband, your first husband, not passed? And the boyfriend, because the
At the
boyfriend,
time. Hmm.
yeah, the
Well,
boyfriend at the
I
time,
don't want to use the
he
word
was,
boyfriend, but
well, that's what, he was the boyfriend, even though he was the first one. He was the first, the first love of your life.
mm-hmm.
And when he went away to prison, then you found the other one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, had the other one not, who was your husband, had he
Mm-hmm.
not died and the other one got out of prison, how would you have handled that?
Well, the truth is, my first husband and I, we were on the road to divorce anyway. Um, it just never worked out that way. But we were planning to have go through divorce anyway, so still would have wound up with my second husband. Now, it probably wouldn't have been as pretty, for a lack of better words, but
Mhm.
we still would have ended up together. I just would have to deal with a whole lot more versus now.
Okay. Now let's talk about your children. How many children total do you have?
5 biological, and then my bonus daughter. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your bonus daughter is your first husband's
Mm-hmm.
daughter? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have any by your second husband.
Not birth by birth. No, I haven't
No,
missed
you had
it.
the miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Okay. So now he'll have 5 children once he gets out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you
Well,
planning
he
on having,
also has a daughter. He has an oldest
he has
daughter,
the
so he's
oldest
like
daughter?
7 children. So,
Yeah. So are you planning on having any more children?
well, I don't want to say no, and then it happens when he come home. So,
Okay. Okay. So how long did it take you to write the book?
well, I started in 2016, and things happened to where my first husband, he didn't want me to write the book because I would have to go down memory lane and talk about my current husband. So I just decided to put it on hold. But after everything happened, I just felt the need to go ahead and write it, pick back up writing, um, because again, I feel like somebody could learn from my past experiences and not and to just follow their heart. So I decided to pick back up and finish writing.
Okay. So were you journaling the whole time? So that's how you were able to get all
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts together,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were writing letters to your now current husband.
Mm-hmm.
You
And the
guys were
letters
writing
that I
letters.
received from him also. So.
Okay. Okay. So once he comes home, is there going to be a part 2 to this book?
Yes. He says it will be. Um, he wants it to be a part 2. So, but it'll be more so his words on what happened,
Mhm.
how his point of view of things versus mine. I mean, it's gonna
Oh,
be the same, but
okay. Okay. So how do your children, I mean, your older children, how do they feel about, everything that's going on? Are you transparent with them,
Mhm,
talking to them about,
mhm,
you know, your husband that's coming home?
mhm.
How
Well,
do they?
he's been around since my oldest was 2, around 2 or 3, and from that whole time they kind of been in contact on and off then. But as of now, he communicates with every last one of them. He calls my oldest 3 on the phone and talks to them daily. With the video visits that we've had in the past, he was able to talk to them and see them. Um, so they're pretty much accepting of him coming home. At first, it was kind of shaky on both ends because they didn't know how to accept. I don't want to use the word accept, but they were nervous of talking to someone else because their dad is not here anymore. They used to dad,
Right.
but now, I mean, they all get along. They always ask about him. He asks about them. They write him. He write them. I mean, I can only thank God for what's happening right now.
Okay.
It's easy.
Okay. So once your first husband passed, how soon after his passing did you get married to your second husband?
Um, He passed away in April, and we got married in September.
Okay, so it's just a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't really take that much time to grieve?
No, I did not. In the beginning, when it first happened, I should have completely down. Didn't want to deal with anybody. Gregory as well. That's his husband's name. I didn't want to deal with him at all. After that, um, but then he came to me, and he's been there for me since that moment. Um, and then when he asked me at first, I was like, "Look, stop playing with me, because this just happened, and I really don't want to go through all that again." But I know how he feels about me, and he has always been there from the time he left up until now. So I feel like it was only right to move on. Now most people would say, "Niesha, you should have waited and this and that," but I don't feel that way.
At least a year.
Right. I mean, a lot of people have not said that, but I'm sure a lot of people have thought that. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I'm okay. I mean, he helps me get through the times that I um, do have my moments. He's right there helping me get through those moments.
Mhm.
Um, and he's been doing it. Um,
Well, how did he feel with you being married to another man? And when he went into prison, you had said you were going to wait for him.
mhm.
How did he feel
He
with the?
didn't he didn't like it. He did not like it at all. But in his words, it's nothing he really could do about it, because I was grown at the end of the day. And that was a decision that I made. And to this day, I'm thankful for the marriage that I had with my first husband, because it it allowed me to grow in certain areas. Whereas in the beginning, I know what a role of a wife is, but I guess it's safe to say that I wasn't ready for that. And going through things that I went through with David, my first husband, it taught me a lot. And it taught me the main thing that I learned is the value of being married. Um, and I take it very serious now. So there's no more
Mhm.
love triangles.
So how long were you married to the first husband?
5 years, but we've been together for 10.
Okay, you were together for 10. Okay. 5 years. Okay. So how does your husband who passed, his family, how do they feel about you getting with your husband now?
Um, I really don't know. I mean, we have no communication. It was just with that whole situation. It was just a bunch of chaos. When you read in the book, you can tell that it was a bunch of chaos. So their opinion about that really doesn't matter to me. If I can be honest, it really doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
Um, as long as my children are okay with it, the opinions of anyone else doesn't really matter.
Okay.
My children are okay with it. Their
And what
opinion
about
matters most to me.
your current husband? How does his family feel about
Mm.
you getting with him after you were married to another man?
So far as I know, they're very supportive of Gregory and I. I talk to his mother all the time. I talk to his grandmother all the time. His brothers and I are close. His nephew and I are close. His sister and I are close.
Mhm.
They're very supportive, and I'm thankful for them as well.
Now, were you close with his family while you were married to your first husband?
The only one I was really close to was his brother, his one of his brothers, because one of his brothers knew everything as well.
Mhm.
Um, but I really didn't get in touch with his side of the family until after all of that was over. And then me and Gregory decided to become more serious. Um,
Okay. Okay. And then after your first husband passed, when did you decide, that you wanted to just, go ahead and get married? You didn't want to wait until he got out of prison and then y'all just, try to get your relationship back on track and everything. You wanted to just go ahead and get married.
no, I didn't want to wait. I really didn't feel there was a reason to wait.
Mhm.
Because that's why I wanted to be from the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, I just had to go through life to become more mature and learn a few more things. So when he asked me to marry him, it was a no brainer for me. Now this is not the first time he asked me to marry him. This is actually the second time. The first time was maybe 2008, 2009, around the time that David and I met. But I was so into David, I didn't even bother accepting it.
And this was why he was still in prison. He asked you to marry him and you were with somebody else. So you didn't tell him that you were with the other guy?
Well, he knew, but because it wasn't. um, David and I didn't just start. We was just friends at first. It didn't start off dating. We was just friends, kicking it, and then it turned into dating. So it was around the time David and I was just friends at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Now I know you got some girlfriends, some best friends. What do they think about all this? You know, because it's a
Now if
lot.
they, it is a lot. But if they feel some type of way, they have not voiced it to me. They're all supportive. Um, from what I know, they're supportive. Now, like I said, if they had anything else to say about it, I wouldn't know because they haven't said anything to me.
And
They're ready to come
you
home
haven't
for
asked
me.
you haven't asked them how
Um,
they feel.
I have, but it's always been friend, whatever makes you happy, or I'm supportive of you regardless. One of my friends told me, she knew that I was still talking to Gregory behind David's back, and she told me, I'll prefer you to walk away from the situation and then y'all be together versus you doing what you're doing. Um,
Okay.
so I did have that one friend that was putting me in my place, and I'm thankful for her for that. So,
But at the end of the day, you did what you wanted to do.
right, right. At the end of the pretty much. So,
So, do you think that why you and your first husband were going to divorce because you were still keeping in touch with your now current husband?
that was the main reason why, because I really felt my mind was made up that I was not going to stop any contact with him. Um, I mean, that's one of the big reasons. I mean, there were other reasons involved. I don't want to say too much on that because he's no longer here.
Right.
But there were other factors that played a part in it, but that was the main. That was the main reason.
Okay. Okay. So, if you had a chance to do it over again, how would you? What would you do different?
Um, I would have followed my heart from the very beginning. Um, and just wrote it out with Reggie from the time he left up until now. It would have been just he and I.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, do I regret? I don't regret any. I don't regret any of it. But if I could do it all over, I would. I would just keep my focus on him.
Really? So
Hmm.
you would wait 15 years
I
for
would.
him in prison? Really? Okay.
Mhm. It's hard to believe because you. I mean, it's hard to believe, but that's what's in my heart. He's in my heart. So
Hmm.
I mean, if he wasn't, we wouldn't be where we are today with love, less than lies, removing the veil. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Now I understand the love and I understand the lies, but I don't understand the lust.
mhm.
Basically, from reading the book, I don't understand where the lust comes in.
The lust was with David and I, because I knew that we shouldn't have been together from jump, but the physicalness is what kept me with him in the beginning. But then, of course, it grew to with love and security and all of those things. But in the beginning, it was lust, lusting off of him and wanting to be with him.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, we hit it off kind of fast. So,
Yeah, you did.
so I mean, that's where the lust came in, and then, like I said, we grew to love each other, but it was definitely lust.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
I mean,
'Cause, yeah, that was kind of quick when you made. I'm like, wait a minute. Is she? But you're trying not to give too much of the book away. But
right, right,
yeah, all of it's detailed in the book. It's
you're
all in the
right.
book. So now, if someone wanted to purchase your book, where would they be able to, get the book from?
They can get it from my website at nieshamarie.com. That's the quickest way to get it. And then once you purchase, I'll ship it out the same day.
Mhm. So, do you have any book signings coming up for your book, or how are you promoting your book?
Yes, I do. I'll actually be in Morrow, Georgia, on February 2nd from 1 to 2 at the Nubian Bookstore, doing a book signing there. So that'll be the first one I'm doing. There are a
Okay.
lot of things I have lined up this year with the book alone, but that's will be the first one.
Okay. Now, you live in Texas, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. And you're coming to Georgia. Do you have family here?
I have a cousin and a few friends that's there, and my spouse lives in Atlanta. So,
Hmm. Okay.
hmm
So now, do you plan on writing any other books? I know there's going to be a part two to this book.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second book that you've written. So you plan on writing any other books?
Yes, I have plans on being a part of another book about the grief side of what I went through. Um, that one along with the part two, and I mean I have a lot of thoughts in my head for a book, so who knows?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I love writing, so.
Okay. Okay. So what type of encouragement would you give to someone who wants to write a book about what they're going through in life?
Um, you have to be prepared one for what's going to come with it. I don't want to use the word backlash, but you have to, if it is that you have to be prepared for the backlash and tune those out in order to get your work done. Like I said, with this book alone, I'm sure it's a bunch of backlash. I've received backlash from my own family.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get too much into that, but I received backlash from my own family. But I had to, and it bothered me at first because I feel like, why aren't y'all in support of me when I'm your blood, not him? Um, but in the end, I had to tune all of that out and just focus on um my goal, which is to complete my book, and I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't regret anything I went through to be able to write this book. I don't regret releasing this book. Um, I don't regret anything.
Really? So
Mhm.
how long did it take you to actually write the book?
Um, like I said, I started in 16, but once I um picked it back up, it was done pretty quick, to be honest. Because everything it seemed like it happened the day before, so I was able to just write without having to think about anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think you would like to have this book turned into a movie once we're,
Mhm.
out of the coronavirus era? You think?
Of
It,
course. That's another reason I started to write because when you read the book, I feel that it is movie potential. And that's one of the dreams I have for my book to become a movie.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. I
Well,
mean, it's a lot of moving parts, but
mhm. Yeah, it went from rated G to rated R
right,
real fast.
right, right.
I mean, you were really detailed. You were really
Mhm.
detailed in a lot of things that were going on. So did you, I mean, in that portion of the book, did you write all that down or is that just how you remembered your relationships to be?
Most of it is from what I remember. But maybe like the first three chapters, three or four, maybe five chapters, is what I've written down. And then of course in between things that I remembered along the way. Of course with the letters that I have from both Ray and I. It, it was a lot. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
that's
of
all.
course with the pictures that I have and all of that.
Mm-hmm. So what are your plans for when your husband does come home?
Um, as far as the plans for he and I, we are planning. We've already started to open up another business with both of us. Um, but as far as when he comes home, just to take some time for us to, of course, get back to learning each other physically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, everything else is there, so it's gonna be easy when he comes home. I feel at least. So I'm just waiting on the day that he.
Are you planning on having a actual wedding because you did
Yeah.
get married in prison? So
Mhm.
planning on having a wedding?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Um. Yeah, we do plan on having a wedding when he does come home. The getting married in prison, I didn't feel any way about that. Um, I just wanted to be, so that really didn't bother me anyway. Because some people will be like, "Why did you get married in prison? Why couldn't you have
Yeah,
waited
why
till
did
you
you
came
wait?
home?" Because
Yeah.
I didn't want to wait. I did not want to wait. And of course, when you being able to hug him for the first time meant everything to me. Being able to
Mhm.
hug him after so many years, I should say, um, it meant everything to me. So that moment, I wouldn't take that moment back.
So
Mm.
you wouldn't have been able to have a physical contact with him unless you married him?
Right.
Oh, so
Now that's
that's
not
why.
the real reason we got married, but that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's good. That's good. So he's excited about everything as well.
Mhm.
far as, starting his life with you, you
Yeah.
know. So you're going to stay in Texas when he gets out?
Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Louisiana, so I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm not sure. That's one of the things I know he does not want to go back there, but if he was to say let's move, I have no problem moving at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell us why he went to prison?
Um,
I know it's in the book.
right, it's in the book. I don't want to get too much into that because um, I haven't really talked that part over with him before coming online, so I don't know how he would feel about that. But it's in the book.
So he know it's in the book, or
Yeah,
has
he
he read
knows it's in the
the
book.
book? Did he read the book yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't sent it to him.
He
But
hasn't read the book?
well, of course, the rough draft. He was helping me jog some of my memory on some of the things that I did forget. But as far as actually him having the actual book in his hand and reading it, no, he has not.
Oh,
Now he, like I said, when I was in the process of writing it and reading to him to see how it sounds, so he knows from that aspect of what's in the book, and he does know um that his part of the story is in the book also, so he knows.
okay. But how does he feel about that? Is he
He's okay with it. He's
okay?
okay with it. I mean, because we came to the conclusion that people are gonna go and search anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not hard to look up anybody's record, so they will find it anyway. So,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
But why do you think they would
Okay.
want to find out why he was in,
Um,
prison? Why would they want to find out why
some people, I don't want to use the word nosy, so I'll say intriguing.
he's intriguing?
Everybody, I feel like everybody wants to know about that lifestyle and why somebody went to prison and all of that type of stuff. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter to me. Um,
Yeah.
when we first began to talk, he told me from the very beginning what he was ready to face. And
Mm-hmm.
that didn't bother me at all.
No. And once from the time that you met to the time that he went to prison, that was only about a year time, right? About
Mm-hmm.
a year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you fell deeply in love with him and y'all were committed from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
It
I mean,
seems too
yeah,
good to be true, but it's very true.
yeah,
It's
because I know
very
while I was reading the book, I text your manager and I'm like, is this true? Is this true? Like you said this book this can't be true.
yes,
But
it's all true. From the
that's
very
good.
first line to the very last period, it is all true.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. We really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Can't wait to read the second book because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just want to see what's going to happen now with you two. I mean, is your love still there? Is it still solid?
Oh, it's still
It's
there and it's very
still there.
much solid. So yes, yes, it
That's
is. Yes.
good.
Hmm.
That's good. So
I
you
think
said,
what helps is that we did know each other prior to him going away.
mhm.
A lot of times the words he liked to use is we dated before we related. So no, we related before we dated. That's how he said. And so we spent a lot of time getting to know each other before actually saying we're gonna be together. So
Mhm.
it's easy. It's
Well,
easy.
that's good. Yeah. So I'm happy for you. I mean, you're
Thank
just like
you.
when you talk about it, you're just glowing. You're just excited about him
Everybody
coming
says
out.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're just constantly smiling and glowing, and I can hear it in your voice when I was talking to you before the interview and all.
Mhm.
That's good. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you were able to, write your feelings down,
Mhm.
and just, be able to go back down memory lane.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah. So now when you write the part two to the book, is he going to actually help you write the book, or he's just going to let you do
Well,
it?
it'd be more so his version of things and how he felt about things. Because in the book, I was only able to put a few instances or a few examples of how he felt um,
Hmm.
based on the things he wrote me and told me. But the second part would be more so of everything from his point of view and how he sees things and how he felt about things.
So
Um,
he's going to write this book, or
mhm. Well, it'd be both of us together, but it'd be more so
more
his
his
word.
story?
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Right. That's good.
I'm excited.
Good. Yeah. So you said you're coming tomorrow, Georgia. Are you going anywhere else after that, as far as the
Um,
bookstore?
Well, right now, we have things lined up, just not waiting on confirmation right now. But I am in the process of working on a documentary also, which will include that part of the book.
Mhm.
It's just some other things I have, as well as my nonprofit, getting that
Good.
going.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed it. And I mean, I really enjoyed talking to you offline because I was able to actually talk about
Right.
the book. And it was hard not to talk about it. But thank you so much for joining us. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And can't wait to see the next book. And just remember, guys, everything you heard and everything we said was up close and personal. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.